Hello, this video is for Johnny Brovo, and I'm making this video as a peace message. My previous videos, I have always tried to make peace messages, also when I talk to people, but in this video I really want to try hard to make this a peace message and make this come across as a peace message. Make it understood the way I mean it, and not make me misunderstood as I am making myself misunderstood so many times in the past to so many different people, because I'm not the perfect communicator. I don't know really where other people are in terms of understanding and misunderstanding, and which words could be misunderstood and which not. So, but I am learning, and that's all I can do. Anyway, I want to make this video because I think that it is about time that we as humans begin to understand the causalities of war and conflict and any kind of dispute and hard feelings and all of this. And the world is full of war right now, and it's all because, like I said in my other video, the Martians think they have to go against the purple people. So it's like always the same principle, it's either skin color, ethnicity, or religion, or worldview, or whatever. It's always one group is going against another, and then there's never going to be some diplomatic ground in the middle where people can actually sit together and talk this through. And I think that's what we are supposed to do. That's what all people should do. That's what all friends should do. When they have a dispute, they should sit together and they should find out what caused the dispute, what can we do better in the future, how can we avoid those kinds of conflicts. So I want to address the hatred right now from the black people and the mulatto people against Whitey. It is only one out of many conflicts in the world. It's just one out of many. There are white people who hate black people. There are neo-Nazis still to this day. There are all kinds of groups. The Jewish people hate the Palestinians and vice versa. It's just one conflict group that I am discussing in this video right now. That doesn't mean that I am picking on this particular group. Okay? Quite the opposite. I'm using this example now, what happened with Eric Jacobs, to discuss this issue of black hatred and the black extreme groups, like the black Islam groups and Louis Farrakhan groups that hate people who have blue eyes. That is exactly what the Nazis did with the Middle Eastern people and the black people. So it is no difference. I mean, why is that better if one group hates blue-eyed people and call them devil? How is that better than a Nazi hating a person of color? I don't understand how that can be any better. It's exactly the same. There's no difference in it at all. I want people to come to their senses and think about this. This is absolutely critical. It is the year 2014. I thought we would be past all these issues, but we are still not past the issues, and we will probably be still struggling with this in 100 or 200 years or 300 years if we don't address it sooner or later. And every single person has to address it. Not just sitting there and saying the other people, they have to make peace, or we're never gonna do it. No. each person has to make the peace. That's how peace works. Peace starts with each single individual, not with the other person. I cannot be sitting here and expecting my husband, for example, to be the strong horse and be the peacemaker between us. I have to do my part in it. I have to try to put myself into his shoes and understand him, understand what bothers him, and I have to come towards him as he has to come towards me. But if I want peace, I have to come towards him. And if you're in a situation where there's absolutely no way that the other person is gonna do anything to come towards you, then you still make peace, but you walk away. You create your own environment. You go somewhere where you will have a better, peaceful environment. You collect friends, like-minded friends, and not in order to conspire against the other groups, but to have peace. Not to design weapons in the garage and conspire and have a grudge and then plan on going out and do some damage. Okay. That's not how it's done. Peace is peace. If you have your community, don't allow other people to be dwelling on whatever hurt they have experienced and then be creating the enemy picture again. Okay. This is not how peace starts in people's brains. Peace starts in your attitude, in the way you feel. Peace is starting when I can only use myself as an example. I will find friends who think like me, who I can enjoy talking to, who I can do things with. We all need communities. All mammals are community animals. We all need friends, we need support groups that makes us stronger, healthier. The scientific reports have proven this, that people who live in strong supporting communities are healthier, and they live longer, and they have much less stress. Stress and cortisol are the #1 killers of our society, of animals and people. Stress is the worst, fear and stress. And that's the #1 immune destabilizer. So that's worse even than any of the other factors that cause immune dysfunction. That's why it is so incredibly important that when we live in a community, maybe they are of our group somewhat, sharing our characteristics, whatever they are. If the other people are violent and aggressive, each individual has to be the role model, has to be the example for the others. We lived in LA. I have seen those people. I've talked to them. I have talked to the Black and Mulatto peacekeeping groups. Those are amazing people. They say no to violence, they say no to guns, and they say no to retaliations. And those are the ones who walk from door to door in the Black communities, Inglewood and so on, and they talk to people and they say, please, 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 try to be peaceful, please don't go out, don't hurt other people, don't hurt other people's businesses, don't throw rocks into their stores, don't hurt anybody just because you want to retaliate or something. We need to change our mindset on that. And I really appreciate these peacemaking groups deeply. I respect them. They have guts. Those are awesome people. Those are indigos. Those are amazing people. And we all, instead of being jealous of them, or instead of calling them names or calling them Uncle Tom or whatever, or Uncle Sam or whatever they're calling them, instead of doing that, listen to them. Hear them out. Use them as your teachers, as your role models, because they know what life is all about. They know that life is about peace, that we are all here together. Whatever our skin color is, or ethnicity, or religious background, or world views, we're all here together. And same applies to the Christians who hate atheists. It's the same thing. And also, people like to make this a race issue. So don't make that a race issue either. I mean, there are black atheists. I've seen them. They exist. They are on YouTube, and they're very courageous. They're gutsy, and they are black vegans, and they are amazing people. Some of them are celebrities. Some of them are scientists. Awesome people. Let's use those as role models. Okay? Every single one, no matter what color we are, use the winners, whatever color or ethnicity or religion they come from. Let's use those as our role models, as our indigos, as our crystal children who have that wisdom. Let's use them as our teachers. It's our opportunity. Okay? Instead of lashing back with our egos and with jealousy, Eric, he has so many subscribers, and then some folks get jealous of him, and then they even make this into a race issue. I have never seen Eric use the N-word. I think that's a fabrication. I think that's just a slanderous lie. So, but I don't know. So if he has used the N-word, then he was wrong. Okay? People should not use those incinerating, hurtful words on either side. Nobody should use those words. And we need to understand how this is going to be perceived. How words have made people commit suicides. Particularly teenagers are very vulnerable to this. So many teenagers, so many sweet, innocent, naive little kids that had to die because of extreme bullying. This is not good, And some of them were victims of jealousy. Some of them were victims of those who were jealous of them. Okay? And some people are victims of their own jealousy. So those are all mental illness forms that can be avoided, that can be dissolved. We can dissolve these things. And I hope that you will read my book and read it with an open mind. Don't read it as Whitey wrote it, or whatever I look like, Turkish or something, So, or Gypsy, I don't know what I have in me, I have all kinds of stuff probably in me. So, I'm not the typical German. But, whatever, I'm just here as a messenger. I'm not even a very good one. I'm not even a very articulate messenger. I have my own obstacles. I have my own Asperger's and stuff like that, and I don't know. I have all the characteristics of an Asperger's, and it's very, very difficult. Extremely difficult. That's like as if you have a computer that's like tuned to an extreme, where it's like constantly creating these over amplifications, and it's real hard to live with this, with this extreme heightened senses. Every sound hurts. So, but I try my best. I do what I can. I wake up with messages basically every day, and I want to make them into videos or blogs or books so that I can give these messages, pass it on to other people. And I think probably most people are probably not open to read it, but I suggest to try to read it with an open mind. If you do, you will get something out of it. I guarantee you. You'll get something for your own life, to improve your own life, and to rethink all of this, and to really introspect, go within yourself, and realize that having this bellicose attitude towards others is never going to improve your life. It's just going to make it worse and worse and worse and worse. I have heard of people who live their whole lives, those are white people, I'm not going to get into who it is. I've heard of those, though they're not our friends for good reason. I heard of people who live their whole lives in a garage, former inmates that live their whole lives in a garage, then they learn a profession in prison, then they come out eventually, and then because of this really bad prison system that we have, that's completely upside down, because of this grudge that had eaten itself further into them during the prison time, instead of making people reflect on themselves, the prisons just make everything worse. The way everything is conducted, the way that the people who work for the prisons think they're not much different than the prisoners themselves, and in their mindsets they have highly volatile egos. They can become violent, they can use their leverage, their power to get even with people and get away with that because of their positions. So just the same with war, just the same with the military. We've seen it so many times. And so this one particular guy, he comes out and he lives the whole rest of his life abusing his body first with glowing rods and alcohol, and what else, he probably takes other crap as well. And then he has his ego has certain problems with things. For example, he had a problem with a store that was selling suits. He didn't like suits, so he retaliated against that store. I mean, this borders on psychosis. So he retaliated against that store. I'm not going to get into the details how he did it, but it's just one thing after another, and he had specific operation names for those things that he did. And that was just maybe like a 2-second gratification for him, but then the grudge was there even worse than before. It's kind of like, almost like a learned helplessness type of scenario where one just keeps giving in and in and in and in further to these types of grudges and needs of retaliation, and it just gets worse instead of better. It's not like there is something that's steamed off. It just gets worse and worse and worse, and the need for more gratification grows, and eventually those people might even murder somebody, who knows, or even torture someone. And it will just never end with this bloodthirst and need for retaliation. This is insanity. And I'm not accusing you of this. I'm just using this one guy as an example. And it happens among all people, those type of things. No ethnicity is exempt from this. And I'm saying this is a human, all too human problem, and we need to address this, okay? We need to address the need for retaliation, we need to address unempowerment, and we need to address jealousy issues. This is very important. Just because somebody has it good, that doesn't mean we need to mess up their lives, you know? Why not say good for them that they have it good? I'm happy to see that there are some people who have it good, or who have a lot of friends, who have a lot of subscribers. That's a wonderful thing, right? Why get mad at them? Why hate them for that? That doesn't make any sense to me. For example, jealousy. I know what jealousy feels like. I have been through this myself many times. But instead of lashing it out, I knew better. I knew that there was a serious problem within myself, and that lashing it out wasn't going to go anywhere for myself in particular. It would just make it worse. So that's why I turned towards therapists, psychiatrists, which psychiatrists didn't work out, drugs didn't work out for me. But I turned towards therapy programs, which did help me. Each therapy program was in some way or another important. Many of them were stepping stones in my life. No therapy I have done was ever perfect, the way I want to see a therapy conducted. But they were all important, and I did a lot of introspection. I did a lot of crying. I did a lot of screaming and pounding against the wall. But the most important thing is to come back to the core emotion. What do I really need? What's underneath that jealousy? Underneath that jealousy is a question that goes very, very deep. And that question is, please love me the way I am. And if we can do this, and if you can do this, if you can say that at home, go into your closet, close that closet, close your door, take your pillow with you, let the tears run, do it, say that what you want to say. Eric is getting all these girls or all these desperate housewives. I just like Jax and Eric because they're very sweet beings, okay? And I support them because they're very sweet, innocent, and kind and gentle. And it's so nice to see people love animals, and nice to see a man who can show his feminine side. A lot of women find that attractive. I find it attractive, okay? Find it very, very attractive. And women trust men who show that side. So that doesn't mean that the men who are afraid to show that side need to be jealous of them. It would be a whole lot easier, wouldn't it, to show that side themselves, right? And then you would get a lot of women. But you can't do it in order to get the women. You have to first completely calm down and slow down and totally introspect and let the tears roll and get to that state. You have to do your healing part first before you can actually become who you really are on the inside. Every single person, including Schwarzenegger and Mike Tyson, every tough guy has the child still in them. Just as every girl and woman and every dog and every pit bull terrier and every bulldog and every Great Dane has that child in. And dogs are totally in that zone of being that child still. They're tough and they have the child at the same time, because they don't they don't understand that peer pressure cognitively, so they fall out of that radar of peer pressure. So, but that's what makes it so complicated with us humans, that we're having all these incredible emotional and sociological obstacles that we carry around with us, like the peer pressure, and then the corporations, believe me, they use that peer pressure. They use that to sell you products. Big time. They use that to sell people gigantic tank-looking like trucks that goes towards the Republican community, the badass Ford 350 or the Dodge Hemi or the Chevrolet 450. You can hardly see out of the window, but it is macho. Those are all addressed towards that ego. Okay. And and in the black community, it's like having a pit bull, and making them mean, and that's so incredibly. That's cruelty. That is making the ego do cruel things, even, but it's it's all of these things. The corporate tactics, they want to turn people against electric energy. They want to turn people against solar energy, because the oil industry, they have both feet in the door in the government and also in the media, and they buy media. They buy entire movies in the way they buy movie space in movies, in pop movies. They buy entire scenes. They discuss scenes with the movie director. The oil industry has their middlemen and their market psychologists that discuss particular strategies of scenes within a whole movie set, not just subliminal, but like entire scenes, sometimes entire plots, in order to manipulate the public into buying Coca-Cola, Tide washing powder, and big large trucks, and boob implants, and you name it, all the stuff. All that stuff that is bad for the environment, bad for our bodies. Some things are cruel to animals and other people. Some things cause extreme exploitation, environmentally, animal and human exploitation. And it's all corporate, and that's why they hate anyone who's a peacemaker, because they want to make money on the masses and on steering the masses towards certain things, towards voting for certain politicians, etc. So, and that brings me to another subject I wanted to talk about. There are black people who are standing strong behind Hillary Clinton and Bill Clinton, who are fans of them, who are also fans of Al Gore, and they don't care what skin color these politicians are. They stand behind them because they know that they mean well, that they want to heal this country from the inside out. They want to heal the economy. They want to balance the economy back out. They want to give us better jobs. People like Ron Paul, they want to eliminate the minimum wage even. And it's all of this is so incredibly misunderstood. A lot of liberals and also a lot of libertarians that totally misunderstand Ron Paul, what he was trying to do. He rants and raves against NAFTA, North American Free Trade Agreement by Bill Clinton, which has very strict minimum wage regulations where it's guaranteed that the people have a high minimum wage, but people rave against it because it was it was set in motion, that trend, by all kinds of things, like by movies that are getting into people's brains, that are manipulating people to go against NAFTA. And but Ron Paul was 100% behind the WTO, the World Trade Organization, which wanted to completely eliminate the minimum wage. Have no more minimum wage, well, basically have total exploitation. They didn't understand these implications that his legislation would have. He only went by the propaganda that was aired in movies and commercials and so on. So that's why I make these videos. I want people to pay more attention to this and not buy into those types of mechanisms, like not buy into popularity, not buy into peer pressure and so on. Stand strong against peer pressure. And also, what I wanted to say is you can make your life, you can transform your life right now where you are, wherever you are. If you're in prison, or if you're on parole, or if you are living in a very poor condition somewhere, just renting a corner of a room, wherever you are, you can make your life, you can turn your life around. It is possible. There's no need to be jealous of other people. You have a wealth of resources inside of you. You have a brain. You have a strong body. You can do something with your life. You can turn your life completely inside out and upside down. You can make a total U-turn right now, wherever you are. And I give you instructions on every detail on what you need to do in order to empower yourself and make your life become a paradise. Okay. Patience is the number one criterion here. You have to be patient with yourself and with others. And be always good to your dogs. Good. Be good to them. Love your dogs. That's the number one criterion. Deep appreciation that's what all these success people talk about. Robert Greene and Napoleon Hill and Tony Robbins.
Sleep with their dogs.
Yes. You have to sleep with your dog. You have to wash your dog, and you have to bring your dog in bed with you, and don't care what other people say. Show them the finger, okay? If somebody calls you pussy, or if someone says something nasty to you, show them the finger and tell them that you go for love instead of destruction. And if they give you a hard time, move out. Move somewhere, go somewhere where people are nice to you. And there are communities rising up now. I am very grateful to see that everywhere, in Oakland, everywhere. There are communities who want to make it better. Okay, in LA too, or New York. There are lots of communities now where people have understood that principle, peoples of all ethnicities, and they get together and they want to make the world a better place for all of us. Okay, they want to create permaculture, even in New York, in a congested city, next to high-rise building, and even on top of roofs, they're creating permacultures. You can do it, and that will also totally solve the world hunger problem. Permaculture is the solution. Permaculture and veganism is the solution. No more hunger problems, and solving all health issues, including mental health issues. They're solved with raw, fresh, vegan food. This is the truth. I have seen it now many times. I read about it. There are people, Angela Stokes, Victoria Everett, and there's a guy named Matt Monarch, and many other people, and another girl, Raw Food Christina, And one guy, his name is John, his channel name is Grow Your Own Greens. And they explain to you how to do it, how to grow vegetables. You have to do composting. You can do it anywhere you are. You just need to get like raised beds, basically. You know, like you can build that from all kinds of rubble, basically. You can take metal sheets that you connect into a round barrel. It can have, the bottom can be open. You can anchor that in somewhere. I've seen this. I've seen people make videos of this. You can take like old recyclable wood that other people throw away. You can make containers. You can make flower beds with it. You can make compost beds with it. And then you do composting. You put everything that biodegrades, you put that into a compost pile. And then when it's full, you let that sit for a year, and you have to water it, and you have to put earthworms in it. You can find an earthworm. If you're on a high-rise building, you can, or in a backyard, and it's cemented, then you have to go out somewhere where there's dirt and where you can find earthworms, and you carefully pick them up with a shovel, and you put them into your compost, and they will multiply in a very short time. And they will decompose all the decomposable stuff into real black fertile earth soil. And that earth soil is the foundation for your plants. And you can grow the most nutritious vegetables with that, carrots and potatoes and tomatoes and beans and all kinds of amazing stuff, lettuces. And if you have a greenhouse, or you can even make your own greenhouse out of, like, if you go to a garbage dump place, you might find like old plexiglass sheets or something, and you can make your own greenhouse out of this. It doesn't have to be airtight. It just matters that it is protected from the harsh elements, like the harsh cold temperatures that can happen at night or during the winter time. So, and you also want, you want it hotter in general. You want the sun to create a heat in there, and then you can even grow tropical plants like citrus fruits and avocado and those kind of things. So the possibilities are endless. They find more and more out. As you explore, you can find out more things for yourself, more tricks and more success stories, and you can learn from this. You can write it down. You can make videos for other people. You can turn your life around. You will have success for your own life. And that's what I call empowerment. Empowerment, the will to power, as Friedrich Nietzsche is talking about. The will to power is to say no to peer pressure, say no to the pressure that you're under, that you have to cave in, like when somebody calls your name and you go like, oh yeah, I better conform. That's unempowerment. Empowerment is to say no to that. Romantic love can have true love in it, okay, occasionally. When that happens, those people are very lucky. But romantic love is just procreation. True love is when you are willing to give your life for your dog. That's true love. And people need to learn this. They need to learn that true love is the love for all life, not just human life, not speciesism type of philanthropical work or something. No. True love is loving all life equally much. Okay. When we understand that, then we are like rocks in the surf. Nothing can hurt us anymore. Then we understand, and it feels good. You will see how that feels. Your body cells are waiting for this to happen. Okay, this total conformity of mind and body, because then you are in sync with your own biological being, okay, that you are, the cells that you are made out of. They all want love. They don't want to hate anyone. They are not there to hate someone who has less pigments in their skin. No, they love all life. So we have to catch on with our own biological systems in that terms. You know, we have to tune ourselves. We have to become synchronized with our systems. We have to tune our brains in with the message of true love, loving our bodies, loving all life, loving our animals, and loving our animals even before ourselves. And that is 100%. That's 100% true love. Take care.